That's
yes,
UC Bedcast. So basically, Big 12 finally did it. They finally expanded, mainly because Oklahoma and Texas on the way out, and they don't have them to block them anyway. But they finally made it the expansion that they should have made 3-4 years ago, inviting UC, BYU, UCF, and Houston. So at first, I'm gonna tell you, I'm fully transparent. We talked about this off camera. I was very, very wrong about this whole thing. For starters, it wasn't I was bashing the teams that they're inviting in.
Sure.
I was just saying, if you're UC, if you're UCF, if you're Houston, why would you leave what I thought was a stable environment? They're getting paid some middle of the year, but why would you leave a stable environment for a sinking ship? And that I thought was the Big 12, because you know what happened after Oklahoma, Texas said, we out, right? Made the announcement in the middle of the summer. I was like, well, shit, it's over. It's a wrap, right? I was like, well, shit. I mean, I figured the Pac-12, the Big 10, maybe the ACC would pick off the carcasses. Right. And, you know, everyone in Mama had West Virginia wanting to go to the ACC, which still, I think they still want to. I don't think the ACC.
If it's their choice,
I don't think the ACC wants them, but that's neither here nor there. And talk this.
I mean, heck, there was even talk at that time originally when Texas and Oklahoma left of like, could the AAC actually pick up folks from the Big 12 and bring them into the AAC, right? I mean, that's how much doom and gloom there was when Texas and Oklahoma first announced.
And that's why I was like, if you're UC, you know, the football brands, you're UC, UCF, and Houston, why would you leave? Because you're the flavor of the month as far as the conference. Right. I didn't realize that they were the flavor of the month individually, okay, along with BYU. So basically, the Big 12 made the move. And, you know, I didn't, and also, the reason why I was wrong, that there are two more reasons. I thought that you know, I mentioned them, I thought that they were a sinking ship, right? And I didn't realize that two more reasons. That the grant of rights is still on through 2025. Yes. Still pays them north of 30 mil per school, which is going to get bigger once Oklahoma, Texas splits, right? Correct. And which means that there's
no reason for me to go from a 30 mil payout in the Big 12, even in shambles. To try and go somewhere else and leave that money sitting on the table.
Right. You'd be stupid. You'd be categorically stupid. Right. So which means that I understand why those schools want to leave the AAC and BYU want to give it to independence, because again, $30 million is $30 million. And even after the grant of rights expires, I don't see the Big 12 getting less than 25 mil.
And I mean, at this point, if you're those AAC schools, you know, you're coming in sub 10 mil right now, right?
Correct.
So anything north of 10, you're like, we can work with it. Yeah. Right? give me 2, 3, 4 years of 25 to 30. And if we got to drop to 15, it's still double what I'm making today.
Double what I'm making, exactly.
Right?
Good point.
I get more exposure. I get still the opportunity to be a Power 5. So I have the automatic, you know, entrance to the playoffs, and whatever that structure turns out to be later is what it is. But I've got at least a foot in the door that I don't have now, right? And that money talks, man. And I'm going from 7 mil right now if I'm Cincinnati in the AAC. I'm playing on Tuesdays. I'm playing on Thursdays.
Right.
That
matching schedule.
I'm on ESPN 8, the Ocho.
Yeah.
Like, you can't find me on a Saturday afternoon at noon because you don't have the right subscription. I joined the Big 12, and now I'm playing Baylor on a Saturday at 3:30 on Fox or ABC, right? That's what, to me, that's the bigger play and the bigger move. Yes, it's probably a little less stable than what the AAC is as currently constructed, but it's worth the risk. So I'll put it to you like this. I will equate it to my own life. So I was in the position that I was in. I was a director of an outpatient wound care center for almost 10 years, right? Ran it, did well, was comfortable, knew my stuff, everything's good. This summer, I got offered a position to go work for a different company in the pharmaceutical space. It was a lucrative move, monetarily speaking, to make this move. But I'm the new dude. It's not stable from a, been there 10 years. I know what I'm doing. You know what? Cool. My manager got changed around. My team got changed around. But to me, in that time, it was worth that risk to make that move. Right. And now if I'm UC, I'm looking at the same thing. I'm stable in the AAC. I know the players. I know what's going on. But we got a shot over here to do something big. And if it crumbles, it crumbles. But we got a shot to do something big. And that's where I'm at now. Right.
Right.
And that's why you make that move.
And that's well said, because it's funny you mentioned that about UC in particular, because Dwayne, I was reading in the Inquirer, that's our newspaper here, that
I thought you meant like the tabloid.
Well, no, that's also called the Inquirer here.
Yeah, no,
it's just called the Inquirer. It's Cincinnati Inquirer, I should say. I'll be official. This Cincinnati Inquirer, not that rag. But anyway, the point is, I think it was Paul Doherty wrote the column. He's a prominent columnist here, sports columnist here.
Okay.
He was saying that what it would do for UC's other sports programs, right? Now, Andre, correct me if I'm wrong, and I probably would be wrong. I know they gave up soccer, right?
Yes.
I know they gave up the men's soccer program. They
Yep.
still have baseball.
Yes.
Do they have softball? Do y'all have softball?
I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay, but basically my point is that there was talk in the athletic office of using that money to not only build them a brand new official standalone football center, right? Which would be even bigger for recruits. I mean, Luke Fickell's bringing in recruits left and right. He's kicking ass right now.
He's killing it.
With one arm behind his back as far as resources. But if you give that man a football facility in the Midwest when it gets cold, we know how it gets cold here in Cincinnati, right? And he's recruiting well right now.
Correct.
Now, if you add the membership in the conference that spans the Southwest, guess what that means too? Recruiting. Remember, we did R word, recruiting. So you can tell, you can go into Texas, you can go into Oklahoma and sell kids on the fact, okay, you may be balling in the Midwest, but guess what? Your mom and pops and family and them could see you still.
Yep.
Not only if they go to Oklahoma State or go visit TCU and Baylor.
And yeah.
But you get to see them on TV.
Yep.
As you mentioned earlier, Dre, that because the Big 12, I know they split between Fox and ESPN, but it's mostly a Fox property. So with Fox Sports, you also get FS1, which most people have.
Yep.
So that's still a win if you're UC. Am I missing anything there, Dre?
No, I mean,
okay.
you now increase the amount of time that, I mean, you talk about the big states, right? As far as football talent is concerned, Florida, Texas, Ohio.
Yes.
People
don't know how big of a state, football state Ohio is.
I don't know why.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But you now have the ability, so you keep your UCF, so you can keep that pipeline to Florida, but now you open up that pipeline to Texas, and not just, you had Houston before, but now you start talking Texas A&M, and you start talking Baylor, and you start to, these are places that TCU where you're like, yo, we're here 3 times a year, 2-3 times a year. Your parents can come see you anytime, son. Right?
Right.
So why don't you come on up to UC? You can start this year.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
And that opens up a whole new realm of possibilities where, where if they left now, again, you gotta find me on ESPN Plus and whatever to try and figure out where my kid is, and I can't really watch him, and I can't travel because I'm still working. And coach, I'd love to see him at UC, but he's probably just gonna stay here at TCU because I can see my kid. Well, now you can see your kid every Saturday, and we'll be down in Texas 3 or 4 times a year. Come on.
Yep. And that's the thing. I mean, and again, like with Dwayne now, we talked about whether it's the SEC, ACC, the Big Ten, the Power Fives, right? And it pertains to FCS athletics, SWAC, is all about another word that starts with a little B, branding.
Branding.
You got another big-ass brand in BYU coming in. So now, if you're the Big 12, you're like, we're good. I mean, again, nothing. I don't trust conference alignment to be over for more than 3 or 4 years. I mean, we're not that naive. But the point is that still, if you're the Big 12, Dwayne, you got BYU, you got that big ass brand out west.
Yes, sir.
Coming in. You have the aforementioned football brands from the AAC, the strong ones coming in. And you still have Oklahoma State. You still have Iowa State. You still have West Virginia. By the way, how happy is West Virginia right now that they get at least have UC with them?
Exactly, right? Yeah.
As a travel partner.
You got a travel partner.
Yeah.
Not only for football, but also basketball.
Exactly.
The one thing that we're not talking about right now, because I know football brings in money, that basketball conference is going to be nasty.
Exactly.
Yes,
right.
Kansas.
Men's basketball.
Yes. Kansas, West Virginia, and UC. Now, UC traditionally is strong.
Yeah.
Y'all got a coach now. I told you, Wayne, that kid that I call him a kid, he's younger than this, but that guy, Wes Miller from UNC Greensboro.
That's right. Yeah.
He turned into a winner on a UNC Greensboro budget. Wait till he gets to a UC budget.
Right.
And a bigger conference.
Well, not just that now soon to be inflated budget because they're moving over to the Big 12.
Yeah.
Now, what I hate to do, okay, that's a lie, but I'm not today at least, right? I'm not going to sit here and be Barry Horowitz. For those of you that remember old school wrestling, Barry Horowitz, he always started his match by doing what? Patting himself on the back. I'm not going to do that today. But what I will do is remind everyone that I've been saying the sky is not falling in the Big 12. It's still, regardless, even with Oklahoma and Texas, they were still the 5th best Power 5 conference, right?
100%.
So at worst, you're still number 5.
Right?
You're still number 5. And I'm like, okay, if everyone else, and you guys have already touched on this, if everyone else realizes that, hey, we can go ahead and at least double, if not triple, what we're pulling in on the TV deal by moving up to the Big 12, why not do that? And that's exactly what I was saying. And like
again, you get your foot into that playoff.
And you get your foot into that playoff. That's the automatic bid. Instead of you being one of the other 5 conferences, which is what, 10 teams the conference. So you got 50 teams fighting for that one at-large bid.
Yeah.
Where I could be one of 12? Come on now. DC public school math ain't the best, but I know one of 12 has a better chance than one of at least 50.
Right.
It's not 60.
Right.
So why not take that chance and move over to the Big 12? Because what? All you're saying is, well, you ain't the ACC, you ain't the SEC.
Hell, they're probably better than the ACC right now. Shit, we took it on the chin last weekend, and the Pac-12 too.
Exactly, right? So my thing is, everybody's talking about who you ain't, but you know who you still is?
Right.
You still is a Power 5, right? And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to alter my analogy from earlier, right? You know, you might be Reeby Jackson, but you're still a Jackson. You still got to hit with Centipede. I don't care what nobody says. You still a Jackson.
Wow, that's old school. Wow.
You know, I can still go to 2100 Jackson Street the rest of the fam. You know, chill out with them.
I'm coming home.
Exactly right. I'm still a Jackson. There's nothing you can tell me because my brother is Michael. My sister is Janet. I am still a Jackson. I'm not one of you peasants out here fighting for that one spot.
It was like,
I'm
what's your
running
name?
this.
Williams? Okay, yeah, you.
Oh, okay, all right. Oh, you're a DeBarge. That's cute. What are you doing, DeBarge? You know it's only really L that does stuff. L DeBarge, how dare you? So yeah,
people would be mad though. Sorry about that. Go ahead. I had to throw that.
But yeah, sorry about that tangent. But still, you're still one of the 5 power conferences. You're still going to get that though. You still get that automatic bid.
Right.
You're still going to be looked at as who you are, especially with basketball season, like you said. I understand it's September and everybody only cares about football right now.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're like one of the 3 of us, we also understand that there are at least 10, if not 15 to 16 other sports within a particular program. And yes, I understand that football drives it with the revenue. Right. I get that. But you can also generate other revenue when you're talking about men's basketball, which is number 2 in terms of money revenue generating. You can also get women's basketball, which is number 3.
Yep.
So if you have great programs there and football is, okay, cool, you're still doing all right. And especially if you're moving up from the AAC to the big. Yeah, I just like, dude, why would these other, unless it's really gloom and doom, just because 2 Bama's leave and it don't make it gloom and doom yet. Hey, you want to have a conversation about gloom and doom? Go talk to the MEAC. Yeah. Talk about gloom and doom there.
Yeah.
When you got Florida A&M, Bethune-Cookman, A&T, Hampton, all leaving within a 3-year period, and now your commissioner is gone, and you don't even have a TV deal. Talk about that. That's gloom and doom. So I sit there and I look at that on a daily basis, and I hear people complaining about the Big 12. Man, if you don't get out my face, my God.
Look, I also look at it from this standpoint. Like, okay, let's say you're right, and gloom and doom is on the horizon. At minimum, gloom and doom is not here for another 4 years. That's minimum, right?
Yes.
So then you're probably going to get another at least 2 to 3 years. So now we're talking 7 years out before the sky falls.
Yes.
Let me go ahead and collect that $15 to $30 million check for the next 7 years, and then we'll figure it out.
Right. You know what? I would say this. I would say this. I kind of wish it's probably not going to happen this way. It's not